So that we're healing those fractures, and that we are recovering who we are, reconnecting those disparate aspects of nature and spirit. And Lillian Holt, yes, we know who we are, and you white fellas don't. So, where did we come from? The birthplace of ancient humanity in Africa. Modern humans appeared less than 200,000 years ago. A mere blinking of the eye in geological terms. Approximately 70,000 years, human ancestors began to migrate out of Africa. The first wave turned towards Asia. They got up towards the Middle East. It must have been in winter time because they decided it was too cold, so they headed to the southeast. They came down to India and Malaysia and arrived in Australia long before they ever got to Europe. So there were two waves. That doesn't show quite clearly here, but the first wave came down to Australia, arrived at least 50,000. The second wave that went up to Europe didn't leave Africa until much later. And of course, the arrival of Americans are very new on the face of the earth, whereas Australians have been here much longer. And of course, the conquest of Christopher Columbus and James Cook, the European arrival in Australia, which culminated in 1788 with the first fleet and the first white population to extend across the continent. Now, messages from Mungo Man. Mungo Man, he says, he talks to me. I have an image, this image on my wall at home. I have three images. An image of Mungo Man, we talk. An image of my father, who's in his uniform in a Somme in the First World War. And images of Christ as a Tibetan tanka, which was done by a Buddhist community in Kathmandu. These three men in my life, they talk to me and I communicate with them. They've changed who I am. Mungo Man, what have you done to my land and what have you done to my people? These are questions addressing the Australians at the deepest level of questioning, understanding what it means to be Australian today. So that Indigenous people have this connection of land, people, spirit. We have much to learn, and in that context they are teaching us the whole process and the need to reconnect with who we are, to reconnect with our land, to reconnect with the spirit. And it's in that reconnecting concept that science and society have to grapple with the process today. And I see two trends in this, and this is just not me, but Teilhard de Chardin and others, a trend from divergence to convergence that are expressed in geological time. And what part of our challenge is to realise where we are in that landscape. Where have we come from, where do we get here, and where are we going? Well, now I've got this rather complex diagram, and without a pointer up, it's not going to be easy for me to touching it. I'll just have to ask you to bear with me, and we go from the bottom, these two strands of migration. 200,000 years ago, Homo sapiens, modern people, emerged out of Africa, or in Africa. 70,000 years, the first group left Africa. They took the right-hand trend, the red line, to Australia. They arrived, Mungo Man, at 41,000, and along the blue line, people were on their way to Europe. So that, going through that diagram then very quickly, up the blue line, the origin of first agriculture, 10,000 years ago. Jesus Christ, 2,000. And then we come to a period of major change with the origin of the cultural centres of Europe, of Descartes, Newton, and the beginning of the James Watt and the first steam engine, only about 230 years ago. I put old Tom Bowler in there. He was born about 170,000 years ago while this was all going on, even before Darwin had published his Origin of Species in 1859. So at the same time in Australia, the Aboriginal people continued in their hunter-gatherer tradition, unencumbered by European change until Captain Cook arrived, and then the drama began. So that in the past 250 years, we've now passed through we go from the zone of divergence. We've passed through that phase of incredible growth in Western technology and science, the understanding of the planet, and that has completely changed our whole cultural context. We now have completed the occupation of all continents on the Earth, including Antarctica. We now, as it were, and Teilhard said, the whole evolution, the whole planet has folded in on itself. We now are faced with the interaction of people right across the globe, and it has resulted, of course, in the scientific revolution, but also in the great tragic tragedies of 2 world wars. And we're coming through that to this exercise today, in which people are sitting down together, all now impacting on each other in a different way that has never been known in the history of the planet before. So we're now in this phase of total interaction, of learning from, learning to live with and grow with each other. And at this meeting of 2009, that's exactly what is happening here in our presence. So in this atmosphere of great geological change, the emergence of from the rupture of nature, from mind, a body, soul, matter, spirit, we're now seeing here in our very presence that convergence coming together. And it's in that context that the end of that dualistic rupture, the commercialisation of nature, which we are still witnessing, commodification of earth, water. It was Maggie Thatcher that commodified, sold the water, set up a water market in Britain. Now we're going to have a market for carbon brokers are already coming out of the system in Australia. The marketing of carbon as a response to climate change. So we want to see the end of that rapacious attitude to our environment through that unity. The unity, as I think is expressed here, is a Trinitarian one. The unity of nature, humanity, and the spirit. These 3 concepts, these 3 realities: nature, consciousness expressed through human presence, and the transcendent. These 3 exist in total interdependence with each other. Nature, consciousness, and the transcendent. Each of us has to engage ourselves, immerse ourselves in the implications of the world from which we came, the consciousness of which we are so proud and so now have to act so responsibly, and the notion that there is a transcendent reality that underpins the life. So this is our challenge of life. Go back to old Teilhard, the life in the noosphere. Our life in this extraordinary sphere of which we are now part and within which we have to act. In that context, we now pass over to some responses to those challenges through the agency of Paul and Kate. Thank you. Okay.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Jim's 80 next month, so doing pretty well. And so we welcome Paul to the stage to talk about some of the practical issues of taking these very high and big ideas and ideals and putting them into practice in challenging situations. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Ed, and thanks for coming along and listening to us. We might be small in number, but I think when you realise that somebody of the eminence of Professor Jim Bowler is in the room, and you get that kind of very common sense explanation of something that we all grapple with, certainly in a forum like this, but in many other forums all the time, to get that common sense explanation of that convergence is actually quite remarkable. I want to begin my piece by